So, let me ask you, have you ever gotten on a plane with this amazing sense of excitement, ready to dive into an adventure, only to have that excitement completely crushed by something you never saw coming? Yeah, I've been there. A few years ago, I went on what was supposed to be the trip of a lifetime. I had saved up for months, planned every detail down to the smallest thing. I was heading to Europe, backpacking through several countries for 3 whole months. I had visions of waking up to fresh pastries in Paris, hiking through the Swiss Alps, and getting lost in the streets of Rome. I felt invincible. I was young, healthy, and ready to explore the world. But you know what they say. Life has a way of throwing curveballs. About 2 weeks into my trip, while I was in Prague, I started to feel really off. At first, I thought it was just the usual travel fatigue. But then, I woke up one morning with a sharp pain in my chest and an inability to breathe properly. I tried to push through it. I thought it would just pass, But it didn't. I ended up in an emergency room in a foreign country where I found out I had developed a serious respiratory infection. It was bad enough that I needed immediate treatment, and I had to be hospitalized for a few days. It hit me hard. My plans were completely derailed. I couldn't move around like I wanted to, and worst of all, I was stuck with a hospital bill that was way higher than anything I could have imagined. I was terrified. Not only was I dealing with my health, but I was also staring at the reality of financial chaos. I had no idea how I was going to pay for any of this. I hadn't even thought about travel insurance because, like a lot of people, I just assumed nothing would go wrong. I never thought I'd be the person who'd need it. But, life doesn't really care what you expect. When I finally left the hospital, a friend of mine told me, this is exactly why you need travel insurance. And she was right. I spent the rest of my trip on a tight budget, trying to recover physically and mentally and scrambling to figure out how I was going to pay off that emergency bill. It was a total nightmare. But here's the twist. That experience changed my whole perspective on travel. I went from thinking, I'm invincible, to realizing that anything can happen when you're far from home. Here's the thing, traveling for a long time, whether it's a few weeks or a few months, is a huge commitment. You're not just booking a flight and a hotel room. You're betting on yourself, your health, and your ability to handle whatever life throws at you while you're far from your usual safety net. But sometimes, no matter how well we plan or how healthy we are, things just go sideways. And when you're out there, in a country where you don't speak the language and there's a medical emergency or some kind of disaster, not having travel insurance can be a serious problem. But let me be clear, it's not just about medical stuff. It's about so many unpredictable things. Lost luggage, flight cancellations, missed connections, or even a sudden family emergency that forces you to cut your trip short. All of those situations can be devastating financially if you're not prepared. So, here's my little piece of advice from someone who's learned the hard way. Don't skip on travel insurance, especially when you're traveling long term. And I get it. It can feel like an unnecessary expense when you're already dropping money on flights, accommodations, and all the activities you're excited to do. But trust me, it's the one thing that could save you from financial disaster if something unexpected happens. For me, finding the right travel insurance was life-changing. It wasn't just about the coverage, it was about the peace of mind. Knowing that if something went wrong, I wouldn't be stuck trying to figure out how to pay for medical bills or cancel my trip last minute without losing money. And that's why I'm telling you, personally, that Aura's to insure, I'll link it below, is the one I trust now. It's the one I use for every long trip. It's not perfect for every situation, but when I found it, it gave me exactly what I needed. A safety net I could count on when life inevitably throws those curveballs. This isn't a paid ad or anything, just me sharing something that has saved me from potential chaos. I wish I'd had it before my trip to Prague. So, to wrap this up, I know we all want to believe that nothing will go wrong, and maybe nothing will. But if you're traveling long-term or even just for a few weeks, make sure you have a safety net in place. It's worth the peace of mind, and trust me, you'll be glad you did it.